Hello, NFL fans, football fans. Great to see you. Another Saturday, Jacks and Pigskins here on Atlanta Sports Unlimited. We are without Dave Holcomb today, who usually drives drives the show, but I'm going to do my best with it. And I have Mad Mike from Mad Mike Sports. Always great to have him on the show. Mike.
How you doing?
Doing good.
I don't know why I'm such in a good mood right now. I'm in a good mood for whatever reason. I don't know.
But I do, before we get going, want to say, go ahead. Glad you're with us this morning. If you like the show, subscribe to our Facebook page, subscribe to Atlanta Sports Unlimited. Hit a like, hit a subscribe. We're always happy to have you with us, and we have a lot of great content. And there's my cat Zozo, and we have a lot of great content for you, including my cat Zozo, who wants to look out the window
every chance to get.
But we got basketballs coming in. We got the Braves starting baseball, so a lot of great stuff coming up on the site. And the show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Go to Prize Picks, sign up. They will match your first entry up to $100. Use the code ASU, the promotion code ASU for Atlanta Sports Unlimited. And Zozo, you want to get out of the way while I do my show? But again, use the promo code ASU. We have, you got baseball starting. You got basketball playoffs coming up. So always a great time to join Prize Picks and get your time in. So there we go. We got all the housekeeping done. Mike, I don't know. Have you heard the news this morning? Because there was a real tragedy this morning.
I'm actually getting a lot of messages right now, and a lot of people want my thoughts on it. So I think I'll do a show Monday, kind of give a rundown on his career, his struggles, his triumphs.
Right.
I think a lot of people need to know every aspect of being an athlete, not only the positives, but the negatives, and how you can turn that negative into a positive.
Which he was doing at the time.
Yes, absolutely.
For those of you joining us, Dwayne Haskins, outstanding Ohio State quarterback, was beginning really working hard with the Steelers to try to build his career back up. Was in Florida working with some of the Steelers players, including Mitch Trubisky. Apparently they were all in Florida working out, and was hit by a car this morning and died. And just, I couldn't believe it when I first, opened up my screen, started looking at my Twitter, and all the outpouring of best wishes to Haskins' family, his wife, his mother, father, sister, and just terrible to see. It's
he was doing a good job of turning his career. I mean, he was very vocal about his struggles and making all necessary adjustments to it. So I know a lot of people are going to receive a certain amount of negativity as far as like bringing it up. No one wants to hear, the bad things. Let's be honest. Nobody wants to be, but sometimes, most of the times, you could save another kid's life, who is going down the same path, or, as a Dwayne Haskins, his story could save another kid's life. So a lot of times, man, like let's I always like to say, let's embrace our struggles and turn it into something positive. So it's not always negative, man.
Oh, no. And as I say, it's just tough to see that he was really working to put his life on a positive track when this happened. It's just devastating when you see a kid who's doing this and working on this and running into just such a tragedy. So, but as I say, it's not the way I wanted to open the show this morning, but we had you've got to just say sing condolences out to Dwayne Haskins' loved ones and just as I say, just tragedy. I don't have any words for it. It's just rough. It's hard to see. So, but let's move on. We still got a show to do. It's yeah. But I want to make sure all our fans knew, all our everybody who's maybe you didn't hear it first thing this morning. Kind of trying to think of what to do today because we're kind of at the tail end of free agency. We're at the beginning of, draft season, silly draft season, really, because this is when you get all the rumors, all the mock drafts, all the, this is what I hear from the front office. It's a draft silly season. And it's always, I find it fun every year.
I do not like, because I get questions from, are we going to trade up? We're going to trade down? Are we going to get this guy? It's like I reported this at least 50 times this year. I'm positive that nothing is going to change. But hey, look, you never know in the NFL because we didn't see. Honestly, I didn't see Chicago trading up to get Justin Fields. So hey, you never know, man.
Yeah, you do. You never know. So it's always interesting to see how this is going to play out. We always get surprises during the draft. But I guess we're kind of done with free agency at this point. I don't think we're going to see too many more moves. The Falcons did make a move looking for the sign. Mike Ford, cornerback, signed him yesterday. Signed Rashaan Evans. And I heard you talking about that the other day, Mike. I listened into a few of your shows from the last week. And I tell you, I'm actually impressed because you actually got the ability to say butt crack on the air. And
what?
Dave won't let me say things like that. Oh no, it wasn't butt crack. It was ass crack. You can't.
Right. I wasn't ready. Look, people expect those things from me, so I can get away with that. Oh my God! I wasn't ready for that.
I was saying, Dave doesn't let me talk like that. I can't say those kind of things.
Oh my God! Oh my God! I wasn't ready for that.
I wanted to bring that up.
Oh my God! Okay, I wasn't ready for that. I'm better. Sometimes I'm shocked at the things that I say. It comes. I'm not always proud of everything I say.
Right.
Oh man.
But I kind of, with the things the Falcons have done, okay, it's been a budget year for the Falcons as far as free agency. You had to be $62 million of dead cap. That's tough to overcome. But it's interesting what they've been able to do with it. And I know there are still weaknesses on this team, but, like Rashaan Evans, you really got he had a rough year last year, injured last year, but this is a guy who was a first-round draft pick by the Titans, and actually he had a couple of very good seasons with the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a guy who can really play tough. I know we're going to miss Aluakon, but I'm kind of happy with Evans. What did you think about the Evans signing?
I think it's one of those underrated picks because pickups because you have two guys and Deion Jones who is just
right.
As far as skill sets, I don't know many linebackers in the league that have, as like Deion he can do it all. Cover, right. He can make those tackles, so he can get behind the line. He can, he can play physical if you wanted to. I've seen him knock over guys as big as Cam Newton. Alone. He didn't have any help, and I've seen him knock over quite a few big guys. Deion Jones, he could blitz. Deion Jones could do any and everything. So now you're in a position to let Rashaan Evans be that guy to be the physical and the tone setter, and do all the dirty work. So, right. I think it puts Deion in a position because last year, what a lot of people don't know about Deion is that he was the dirty work. He was doing all the dirty work, and Fourier was the one. He could roam free and do. So
right
now you put Deion's in the position where he can roam free, and Rashaan Evans and Mike Walker, those guys can be the physical guys. So I think it's an underrated move, and I thought it was a great because Rashaan Evans, he's a physical guy. He's physical. I love physicality, so I think it's an underrated.
Yeah, so do I. I'm being a Bears fan, I grew up on the Bears teams I grew up watching weren't very good, but the teams that they faced normally lost the following week because they were so beat up from playing the Bears. It was just something.
I'm a huge bet. Like I'm a huge fan of defense, so I've always followed the Bears. So if I want to see a good physical defensive game, watch the Bears.
Right. That's
exactly what you're going to get.
So, but I agree with you. I love this Rashaan Evans signing. I think they got a good bargain for, considering that they don't have a lot of space, a lot of room to work with. I think they really improved their linebacker core that way. Yeah, he's a tackler. He's not great in coverage, but man, he can tackle. He had 111 combo tackles a couple of years ago. So, and that's impressive to me.
He's a Dean Pease guy, so those guys he's going to have a spot for him. He's not going to put him in a position where he's going to, have to do too much. That's what I love most about Dean Pease. He always puts his guys in a position where they can succeed. Right.
Yeah. I mean, Evans is going to be working the line, filling holes, filling gaps. They're not going to worry about dropping him back on a tight end or anything. He's going to be charging every play.
Right.
So, nice to see that. Mike Ford, I was looking at him. I wasn't as impressed with him at first. Apparently not all that as far as a defensive back. He's going to give some depth to the defensive back room, but very physical on special teams. This guy might be a special team star.
Oh, yes.
As apparently Lions fans really loved him for what he was able to do on special teams.
That's what the Falcons struggled in special teams the last couple of years. I'll say the last 2-3 years they definitely struggled, especially the Dallas game where everybody looking around and So we've struggled. The Falcons have definitely struggled in special teams, and for quite some time, going back to the 80s, the Falcons they've never truly struggled in special teams. But under Dan Quinn, they lost Terry Bisky. They lost a lot of special teams coaches that was they made sure that those players weren't lacking. They was on top of everything. So I love the sign Mike Ford because a lot of times it comes down to can you stop guys on special teams, prevent those big plays, and give teams, give your team a better field position and, take it away from them. So I love this move, to be honest.
Yeah. And one of the things last year I was thinking, because once the Falcons signed Cordero Patterson, I thought you got a really strong special team guy here because Patterson in Chicago was a hell of a gunner. He could get downfield almost, by the time the punt was coming down, he was there. But they didn't really use him as much last year in special teams because I think Arthur Smith loved using him in the offense. And
that was largely due to Mike Davis. He wasn't very good as a running back, so we definitely needed Cordero for that.
Yeah. So I mean, and it surprised me they didn't use him as much at special teams, but yeah, I understand why. But I think they've got a guy who can kind of take that role, and you don't have to worry about Patterson doing that now. He can take that role completely out of his range. He doesn't have to do it.
You have a guy you got Mike Ford. They have a guy now in Avery Williams. He's one of those guys that can play on both sides of the ball. So I think they want to kind of bring him along as far as the special teams guy, him being the punt returner, kick returner, gunner, play a little bit of DB. They have quite a few guys that they drafted last year. They want to give them a little bit more responsibility this year.
Yeah, I think, and again, another positive move considering. Oh, there's Chris. Another positive move considering, again, they're working on a budget. You're working on really tight margins here.
Oh, yes.
One thing I want to get your opinion on as far as they signed a lineman this past week from the Bears. A lot of Bears fans aren't impressed. A lot of Falcons fans I'm seeing are impressed by Jermaine Affetti, who they kind of project to being a tackle. And as I say, we weren't impressed with him in Chicago. You think? I know they want to try to improve on Keith McGarry, but I don't know if this is it. What's your take on Affetti coming down to Atlanta?
This is a difficult one. I don't at this point the Falcons need depth. That was one of the things that they need more than anything, and they need depth, but more so they need experience. So I see this move as a guy that when they go, you're going to draft guys, you're going to have offensive linemen that falls in the second, third rounds, and these guys are young. But the Falcons are in a position where they have guys like McGarry, they have Lindstrom, as well as Mayfield, and a guy like Affetti, he has experience. I know a lot of people may not value his total skill set, but one thing that Arthur loves to do is he loves to use those offensive linemen on the goal line and short yardage. So he's going to have an opportunity to be a run blocker. I don't think he's going to put him in position unless, something happens to one of our tackles or whatnot, and he can fill in. But I see this as a swing tackle, swing guard, a guy that's coming. He's just going to come in and, fill a void. I like. You got to have those guys. You got to have guys that you can rotate in. You can't just play your starters 100% of the time. You have to give these guys a rest. So this is where I see that. I wouldn't put too much stock. People put way too much stock. It's like, all right, this guy sucks. Well, he's not going to see the field a lot, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, he's going to be a specialized times when he sees the field. So, does play a good guard position.
Right.
So,
he's better at guard than he is.
Much better at guard than tackle. So, yeah, as I said, I've been seeing a lot of people talking about, McGarry's got competition at right tackle, but not from Affetti.
Mm-hmm.
And, and speaking from somebody who watched him play last year, this is not going to be competition for Keith McGarry.
Right.
As I said, I've been watching some of your stuff over the last week. You had a few things to say about Marcus Mariota that apparently you were looking for big things out of Marcus Mariota this year.
Absolutely. I'm not a fan of RPO, so I just want that to be no. I'm not a fan of RPO, but I understand this is the time that we're in. So from a football traditionalist, I'm just going to have to suck it up and deal with it. So
same here. I know. We think the same way on this.
I do not like RPO at all. He's an athletic guy. He's an athletic guy. One of his main issues has just been health. If he can stay healthy, he can put up quality numbers. I think a lot of people are in a mindset, especially we have a great quarterback like Matt Ryan. You expect 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns. Right. Well, you're not getting that. So you're not getting that from Mariota. You want for him is to put up solid numbers and not make a lot of mistakes. And Mariota, if you give him a little at a time, don't give him too much. Don't give him too much responsibility. Lean on the running game, let him run around, make a few plays here and there. Wait on the defense to kind of bring themselves get, a lot better. Depend on the special teams, the running game, offensive line, defense. You don't need Mariota to be a Matt Ryan. Just manage the game. I mean, that's honestly what you need. So I think he's going to do a terrific job just being the game manager. We expect too much out of these quarterbacks. We expect way too much. Quarterbacks cannot just it's football. It's not supposed to be a game about quarterbacks all the time.
Yeah, but that's the way the league is going. That's where they're going. They have made it easier for quarterback play. I mean, they've loosened up the rules so much that it's amazing. I was looking at some of my stats this week from last season, and teams that won the yards per pass attempt battle, teams that went in with a quarterback who is better at yards per pass attempt, net yards pass attempt. That's taking sacks into consideration, and passer rating differential, which you take your guy minus their guy, and they won like 65, 66% of the time. 2/3 of the time, if you came in with a quarterback who was a better passer, you were going to win.
Yeah.
No matter what. And really surprised me that it was that big of a difference. That big of a differential between those stats and everything else that I usually track during the season. So, and I think what's that?
I may have to do homework on that because that really intrigues me. I never thought of that. So,
because I just came to the conclusion that it's gotten to the point where they've opened up the game for quarterbacks so much that this is kind of where you're going. You got to have a quarterback who can get the ball downfield, who's going to be effective as far as passer rating and be efficient. So going to be interesting to see how Mariota does that. But I don't think he's as bad as people have made him out to be. I think he struggled early.
It was a franchise move. It was a franchise move. They wanted their guy to be the quarterback, and that guy is I just lost his name. Ryan Tannehill. They wanted Ryan Tannehill to be the guy. They paid him money to come in, and Mariota was done.
Yeah. Now the thing I think Mariota kind of works better with Arthur Smith's offense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It seemed to me like Matt Ryan was kind of like a square peg in a round hole last year.
Oh, he was.
Yeah. Okay. Because I don't think he quite fit what Arthur Smith liked to do on offense. And I think Arthur Smith likes that mobile quarterback, and that's just not Matt Ryan's game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Arthur Smith respected Matt Ryan. I don't think he kind of ever bought into Matt Ryan being his quarterback or adjusted his game to what Matt Ryan could do. I think they were both kind of, a little kind of out of, not quite in sync. Let's put it that way.
Arthur likes to use his quarterbacks to stretch the edge, and it's like he has to have mobile quarterbacks. That's something that Matt Ryan, we know he's not very fast, so it's hard. It's going to be difficult for him to stretch the edges with the quarterback. So those are the things that he did with Ryan Tannehill, Mariota in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Use the quarterbacks, the quarterback reads, the quarterback rollouts, and things of that nature to stretch the edges. So now he has that guy that can help him stretch the edge, and it's going to open up the running game in the middle. So I expect the Falcons' running game to be much better than what a lot of people expect.
Okay. No, that's fair. And I agree with you. And you can see that that's Arthur Smith. That's his calling card. He does want that quarterback who can do more things with his feet, can move out. And I think he's got the type of quarterback he wants. I don't know if he has the quarterback he wants. We're going to see.
I don't think he has the quarterback yet.
This is the shot. But now we're coming into the draft. And as I say, the Falcons have covered quite a bit. But we still have to see some improvements in a few areas. And there was something else I wanted to bring up too. But we were in the middle of talking about Mariota, and something came to mind, and it left. So,
it happens to me all the time. I forget. That's why one of the main reasons why I don't like hosting this show, because I'll forget.
Well, I keep telling Dave when that happens to me. I keep telling Dave, it's coming for you. Yeah, he's a young guy. Yeah, it's coming for you.
It happens to me all the time.
So, but heading into the draft, I again saw another one of your broadcasts last week. You have an interesting favorite at defensive end than I've seen. And I don't think I've seen kind of projected to the Falcons so far this off season in any mocks. You like Dwayne Johnson out of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And you were really talking him up big. So do you think he falls? Do you think he could get to the Falcons at 8?
I believe.
What do you like about him over like Thibodeau or who's the other? There's another great defensive lineman that's up right now. Jermaine Johnson. Yeah, that's the guy you were talking about. But also, what do you think about Trayvon Walker? Do you think that Falcons fans, again, a University of Georgia guy, This is what Falcons fans always seem to complain about. We don't get any U of Georgia guys here. We always pass up our University of Georgia guys. And, I've been writing and talking about the Falcons for about 3 years now, and I've been hearing that constantly.
Yeah. I'll say this. I think Jermaine Johnson is exactly what the Falcons need. He reminds me of a lot of a guy like Michael Strahan. He doesn't necessarily have that amazing get off, but he competes. That's all I need from a defensive end, because we got guys who can get off the ball and they only have one or two moves. But Jermaine Johnson he's one of those guys that has a wide range of moves. And having talked to guys like Chuck Smith, you have to have a plan. And you can tell when he's playing that he's watching the feet of the offensive tackle, watching the body language, see, if he's leaning this way, you can see that he's rushing with a plan. And those are the things that this is why I say, if you guys want to learn more about pass rush, go to Chuck Smith. He has trained all of the best. We're talking about the guy that got the last sack in the Super Bowl. He was trained by Chuck Smith. So if you want to learn anything about that, we got to plug Chuck Smith. Go watch and learn from Chuck Smith. But Jermaine Johnson has a plan. And those are the things that I look for in not just defensive edge rushers, but defensive tackles. You can tell that these guys have a plan, and he competes. Competing and rushing with the plan, because you can have the best get off, but as we know, like a Vic Beasley attack McKinley, if that one move doesn't work, they're clueless, so they have no idea what to do next.
Right, exactly. That always frustrated me about Beasley is taking that outside move, taking that outside turn towards the quarterback, and never got there. And it's just the hell of it is every now and then you would see Beasley take this inside move and bull rush and was awesome at it and just didn't do it enough. It's amazing how you watch guys who are capable of doing something but just don't do it. Don't take that route. He was always taking that outside route. And
I never understood it. It frustrated me. I love Big, but it frustrated me.
It really did. It was amazing. So, but answer the Falcons fans as far as Trayvon Walker. Why should we ignore another University of Georgia athlete? Because if he succeeds, that's all you're going to hear.
I don't think people are like me after this.
Okay.
They're not gonna
I never worry about that.
I don't think people are like me after this. I love Trayvon. I think he's a terrific talent. He obviously has the tools. He has all the tools, the physical makeup. He has a great get off, a wide range of moves. But what is kind of bothersome for me is, can he play without Jordan Davis?
Okay.
Those are the things that I look at with a lot of these linemen, is because, all right, if you're playing with a guy like Jordan Davis, everywhere he goes, you have to assign two guys to him.
Right.
You can't leave him one-on-one.
Yeah.
Can Trayvon Walker win double teams? Can he compete? Will he continue to compete when he's getting double? When he's getting chipped by a running back, a tight end consistently? We haven't seen that with the University of Georgia. I saw that with Jordan Davis. And this is one of the reasons why I probably getting ahead of myself with Thibodeau. Well, I seen Thibodeau quit when he's getting double team, chip, and triple team. So those are the things. I think if he can compete, then Trayvon Walker is your guy. If he's there at 8, I think he is. But I'm more inclined to draft guys that consistently see double teams. I don't trust guys who all they've seen is single one-on-one opportunity. So I like Trayvon as a overall athlete, but as a football player, I'm not sure because I need to see him playing against those double teams.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I like the thought about Jermaine Johnson coming to the Falcons. I think that'd be fantastic. They have got to develop a pass rush at some point. I like the secondary of the Falcons.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
You know, that's the thing. I think they've done a good job putting a secondary together.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Terrell and Hayward going to be a good combination this year. Excellent corner combination. Isaiah Oliver, they found out he can play nickel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
He can play nickel. He's a hell of a nickel cover. And
I think I might have called that too. I've been telling people for the last 2-3 years, you need to put Isaiah Oliver, but they won't listen to me. They won't. They won't listen to me.
Unfortunately, he got hurt, but man, he was doing great.
Mm-hmm.
And he never impressed me as an outside cornerback, but man, put him in nickel coverage and he was locked out. He was good. And I like the fact he's going to be back this year, and you got a couple of good corners. And I'm interested to see the safety play as far as
Richie Grant. That's the big thing. That's the biggest question mark of the defense outside of the defensive line is Richie Grant. What can he be? That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, exactly. Because there were times watching Falcons games last year where he looked out of position or looked like he wasn't didn't like the angle he took or something.
Right.
And some of his decision making. So you're hoping we see a lot better out of that, this upcoming season.
He plays a little bit too fast. He plays way too. If he just slows down and think about what he's doing, he plays incredibly fast, and he needs to slow down and read the play properly. He gets ahead of himself.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, exactly. That's a great way of putting it. I'm with you on that. Now, the thing is, all right, here's how do I want to phrase this. Everybody's saying wide receiver at number 8. I say no way. You've got to take an edge rusher. You got to take somebody who can at least put a little bit of pressure on the quarterback because you don't have that right now. You can find wide receivers later, but I've also seen, you got Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis looking at might come off the board in the first round. If they don't come off the board in the first round, do the Falcons look at a quarterback in the second round? I haven't really seen anybody discuss. And, is there a possibility that you could see the Falcons go quarterback in the second round and wait until much later to start piling up on wide receivers and offensive line depth?
Well, again, Falcons fans might not like this answer, but hey, it is what it is. I wouldn't touch any quarterback. I'm continuously building this team because you have a guy in Kyle Pitts who he's a unicorn. He's a tight end. He's a receiver. Anywhere you put him, he's going to be. So I don't think it's a necessity to have to draft a wide receiver or a quarterback at this point. So what I'm doing I'm trading down. If I'm not impressed with the edge rushers or the defensive lineman, I'm trading down, get an extra pick, get a couple of defensive players. And like you said, you got guys like George Pickens, Christian Watkins, Watson. God knows. I don't know what Garrett Wilson is going to be. As far as a receiver, he reminds me too much of Calvin Ridley. That's a good and a bad thing.
Right.
He doesn't necessarily like a lot of contact, but he's a hell of a receiver. So a lot of those guys can drop. So I wouldn't touch a quarterback because you have some quality players that's going to be available in the second round. So I'm not touching a quarterback.
I agree with you. I don't know. I don't know why, Falcons fans wouldn't like that analysis because I kind of agree with you. This isn't the year to be taking a quarterback. It's just not the year.
Not.
And the Falcons are covered. You got Mariota, and I still expect them to sign somebody besides Felipe Franks to back up Mariota. There's always quarterbacks out there you could sign. You can find them, career backups who are going to have are going to be available. And, you're going to be able to get one. So I'm fine with going with Mariota this year and moving forward and not worrying about a development quarterback because I don't think you have any development quarterbacks this year. It's just not there. Would you take, considering the Falcons receiver position right now, because I was looking at their who they have signed right now, and right now Zacchaeus is their best receiver.
Right. That's one of the main reasons why I'm not taking a quarterback. It's pointless. Like, come on, like let's be real. Who is he going to throw to? Comments. The running game, we have no idea what the running game is going to be. We don't know who's going to step up as receiver outside of Kyle Pitts. It's Cordero Patterson. He's 32, and we don't know how long his body's going to hold up.
But he's built though, man. He's
a beast. That dude, he's another physical specimen.
Yeah.
But I like, again, it's so many questions on the offensive side of the ball as far as the skill players are concerned. It will be pointless to bring in a quarterback. What I don't like is to draft a quarterback without the necessary tools. The offensive line is still a question mark outside of Jake Matthews and Chris Lindstrom. The running game, we have no idea who's going to step up and be the starter. The receivers outside of Kyle Pitts, it's so many question marks. I'm not touching the quarterback. I'm not bringing in a young guy to just ruin him because guys these days they only have 2 to 3 years to prove that they can play in the league, and they're out.
Right.
I'm not ruining the kid's career because we want to, play fantasy football. Like, come on, let's stop.
Yeah, see, to me, and that's what cracks me up about mock drafts. Because I read mock drafts, I read the Falcons taking a wide receiver with number 8. I'm like, no. For one thing, there's no Jamar Chase out there this year. Right. You don't have that impact wide receiver. You got a lot of good receivers, but you don't have that impact guy. That's going to change your offense just by having him on the field. So, and to me, number 8, if you're in the top 10, you better get a Pro Bowl caliber player.
Right.
Period. No doubt about it. You don't pick a project.
Right. Not with 8.
It's just, it always drives me nuts when teams will pick a project in the top 10. You got to get a Pro Bowl guy in the top 10. Then you worry about filling out your depth. But unless you're Jamar Chase, you don't have an impact wide receiver. And I'm sick of seeing wide receivers mocked to the Falcons in the first round. And I've been seeing the quarterbacks mocked to the Falcons in the second round, like Frank Corral and a couple other guys. But it's just ridiculous to me. And
these guys have yet to prove that they could play consistently in college. Why would I want him to be the franchise leader for my team?
Right, exactly. There you go. Right, exactly. I always love that term developmental quarterback because very few of them actually develop into quarterbacks.
Right.
It's just
less than 20%. It's less than 20% that comes out of each draft every year that actually develops into a quarterback. It's not, you may get one or two guys out of each draft each year that can be a quality backup, a quality starter in the NFL. Like it's not common. And being a Bears fan, no shot, but you guys should know that by now.
Yeah. Oh, hey, believe me, I'm telling you, I've seen it. I've lived it. I've been seeing the Bears try to sew two quarterbacks together into one working model for years. It just doesn't happen. And Bears fan, they'll go, yeah, we got to draft a developmental quarterback in the 7th round, and we will bring him along.
Mm-hmm.
No. The only time I've ever seen that work was Tony Romo.
Yeah,
you got a late round quarterback, and he actually turned into
Tony Romo, Tom Brady. Those are the only guys that actually.
Yeah, Tom Brady too, right? It doesn't happen. And you keep rolling the dice. It doesn't matter. It's not going to change things.
Mm-hmm.
So, so that's the thing, because I think the wide receiver talent is going to come later in the draft. I think offensive line talent is going to come later in the draft. The Falcons got 2 3s, and I think they can make use of that.
2 3s, and
right,
a couple of 4s if one. I forget. But they have quite a few picks in the middle round. So like I'm if it's not Jermaine Johnson or Jordan Davis, I don't see any reason to take anyone else. I'm trading back if I can. If I'm the Falcons, I'm trading back, or I'm taking Jermaine Johnson or Jordan Davis. I don't believe you're in a position to take an offensive line, because what if a guy like McGarry the light just comes on for him and he becomes a Pro Bowler? Now you have a problem. You have 2 offensive linemen, Jake Matthews, who just signed an extension himself. So now you have a real issue. That's another issue. So right. It's just too risky.
Yeah, I'm with you. For me, the preferred defensive end would be Jermaine Johnson. I think you sold me on him. And he's climbing up a lot of boards. As people start, really looking at film on these guys, he's getting a lot more attention. Now, the thing that drove me nuts about Kayvon Thibodeau is he went to the combine. He was going to participate in all combine events, completed 2 and decided not to do anymore. I don't like that. That sends up alarm bells in my head as far as commitment and somebody who's going to, and give you everything he's got. I don't see it.
He's not a competitor. I get straight to the point. I tried my best not to be too difficult, but when I saw these are one of the things that I said before is that when I see Jermaine Johnson, I see a competitor. He competes every day. He competes every down, and no matter what the obstacle, he's gonna give 100%. I don't see that from Thibodeau. He doesn't compete every down, and you can see the lack of effort. That's disturbing for me.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, even if he is there, I think Jermaine Johnson's still the better answer. One comment here that I want to look at. Falcons just setting Marcus up to fail. Wondering if Falcons didn't do nothing for free agency. Are they tanking for a good draft pick next year? Anthony, I wouldn't say that. They didn't have the money for free agency next year, this year. I don't think it's an intentional thing. They had to shop off the bargain rack this year. They had no choice. And, I know you still don't have much for Marcus Mariota to work with, but that's why I'm saying I think you can look to the draft for that and bring in some guys for that. You're still going to have some available players. You're going to have some diamonds in the rough that you're going to be able to get in later rounds. And that's one of the advantages of this draft. You don't have a lot of impact players, but you have a lot of depth. You have a lot of quality players. You have a lot of guys who are going to be able to play in this league. So, but the one thing about next year, all that dead cap goes away.
Yeah.
It's gone. It's done. You can do something next year.
It's a marathon. That you're setting in place a plan. All right. It's not so much about this year. It's a plan in place. You have to set the foundation first. And a lot of these guys are foundational players because you still have a question on whether or not Marlon Davidson, Richie Grant, AJ Terrell, those guys, we don't know if Grady Jarrett has completely bought into everything. So you may have a couple of, picks coming from that if Grady decides he doesn't want to stay with the Atlanta Falcons, and that's a whole nother story. And, I guess waste his career. He may not want to do it. So, you have so many things. It's a marathon and not a race. And I think that's what a lot of people, not everybody's going to be the Rams and give up their entire future. And let's be honest, man. If they didn't win the Rams, and I know I'm going off in a tangent, but hey, you know how I do. I'm all over the place. If not every team wants to be the Lakers and give up the future, the 24, 25, 26. They don't want to give up all their picks. All right. Yeah. So it's just not a smart way to do things. It's a marathon and not a race. You have to be patient. This is what the Falcons have taught these couple of years. We're gonna wait. We're not gonna reach for needs. We're gonna wait and be patient. That's the best way to build a franchise.
And that's the thing. The Bears are going into that this year too, in that same mode, because the Bears are running the same way. They got a heavy dead cap this year.
Oh yeah.
What worries me about the Falcons is the Bears' former general manager is now in Atlanta advising.
Oh wow!
Yeah, you have Ryan Pace in Atlanta working with Terry Fontenot.
Oh, we've been getting killed for that. Oh man, I don't know what to say.
Oh my god!
I look. I'll just say this. I hope Terry knows what he's doing. I hope he knows what he's doing.
Because you might not end up with any draft picks because Pace loves to package draft picks for players.
Right. Yeah.
And he overpaid for talent. I mean, his some of the contracts you got to look at and you're like, what the hell was he thinking?
Was he the guy?
Danny Trevathan was ridiculous.
Did he bring in Mac? Did he bring in Khalil Mack for that?
He brought in Khalil Mack. At that time, the Bears did have a lot of cap space, but he filled all that cap space real quick with Mack, Danny Trevathan, Akeem Hicks.
Right.
And all of a sudden, the Bears were in salary cap trouble. And one of the things Ryan Poles has been dealing with this year is trying to get out of that cap hell. And the Bears don't have a lot of draft picks to do it with.
That sounds awfully familiar.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, Pace loved to package draft picks, and then he would draft projects in the top 10 if he had a top 10 pick. And just, it drives you nuts. Leonard Floyd, he moved up to draft him.
Yeah.
I think number 9 ahead of the Giants. And Floyd was undersized. But they kept saying, well, give Floyd 1 year of working out, training, being at the NFL level. He's going to be fine. Floyd never learned how to disengage. If tackle got his hands into Floyd, that was it. He was done. He's a lot like Dante Fowler. Right now, Leonard Floyd is the beneficiary of the Aaron Donald effect.
Wow.
Yeah.
You may be
got
right
Aaron Donald in the middle. You can do a few more things. But
you're right on with that one.
But that's the kind of thing that used to frustrate me is you draft these projects and you package draft picks to draft these projects. And I don't want to see the Falcons do that. I want to see them use their draft picks. Ryan Poles has been doing that so far this summer, taking his time. Working off the bargain rack as far as free agency, looking forward to the draft and trying to, undrafted free agents, seeing who we can bring in. And we'll go from there. Again, next year, going to be a lot of room. Going to have the ability to do some more things. But do you think you can sell that to Grady Jarrett, that it is a process and you're going to be back before Jarrett kind of runs out of patience? Because I've been seeing that, and I would hate to see Grady Jarrett go. The guy's only 28. He still has a lot of years ahead of him.
Yeah. Oh, man. I think so. The key is the offense, the running game. If the Falcons can fix the running game, then the way that Dean Pease and Arthur work well together as coordinators and play callers, they're going to be in a lot of games. They're going to have opportunity to win a lot of games because if you run the ball well and play solid defense, you're going to be able to win a lot of games in the NFL. Yeah. But it just comes down to whether or not they can fix the running game and sell it to Grady Jarrett. I just don't think Grady wants to leave. He doesn't seem like a guy that is ready to leave, but a lot of guys, I think it came to a point where, they knew that things were coming to an end as far as Matt Ryan is concerned. It was just time to move on. Yeah. A lot of things transpired, and it was just time to move on. But
the hell of it was with Matt Ryan is, I think Arthur Blank got involved in that. That's the problem too. Is I think because nobody was looking at the Falcons as a suitor for Deshaun Watson, and all of a sudden they were a finalist. I think that's all due to Arthur Blank. So at that point you had to do something with Matt Ryan. But I've been saying for a couple of years it's time to trade Matt Ryan. You can't keep moving his salary down through the years. You're not competitive right now. You're not going to make the playoffs with him. You really do. And that's something that Dave and I always talk about. The Falcons hate saying that R word, rebuild. They don't like the R word. And I don't know why. Maybe they're afraid fans are going to be turned off by it. But to me, rebuild means you're going to see some exciting young players hopefully coming through that you can get behind. So I'm kind of glad Ryan got another bite at the apple this year. He's going to go into Indianapolis. I think Frank Reich, that system's going to work for him. I love it. But, I don't want to see Grady Jarrett go the same way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see the Falcons say, okay, it's, we can't sign him. We're still in salary cap. I want to see Grady Jarrett stay. He's still in his prime. He still has a lot of years left. And they really need to do something with him.
I mean, you throw a good chunk of change at Grady. I'm positive that'll do something. A good $40 million at Grady, guaranteed money. Yeah, I think that'll be good enough. Like I said, I don't think he's at a period like he's had an opportunity to go to a Super Bowl. So I think the selling point is we can win. We can make some noise in 23.
Right.
23 is the year that I think they're really going to go out of their way to make sure they build the foundation. And if Mariota can come in and be a quality quarterback and allow the team to build the defense, and he just does what's necessary, does enough, a lot like Jimmy G in San Francisco, he doesn't have to do too much.
Yeah.
Have a solid team, have a solid defense, have a solid running game. He can make noise. So I don't think it's out of the question for the Falcons to be able to compete in the next couple of years.
And I think you need a leader build around. I think Grady Jarrett's that guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So I like the fact of having him. We are out of time, Mike. It's amazing how fast this thing goes.
Oh, man. It's been an hour. Good grief.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
It's amazing, isn't it? Want to thank everybody who has tuned into the show today. Want to thank everybody who's going to be watching the recap this week. Had a lot of fun with Mad Mike Sports. If you haven't checked him out, I know everybody's checked him out. You know where he is on YouTube. They know where you are. But it's been a blast having you on, Mike. It always is. I love doing a show with you. And we will see Dave Holcomb next week. And again, we're heading into baseball season. It's the perfect time to sign up for Prize Picks. Use the promo code ASU. There he is. There's my guy. They will match up to the first $100 of your first deposit, up to $100. So, free money. You deposit 100, you get 200, and you get to play around with some baseball props, some basketball props. As I say, we're heading into the playoffs. It's going to be some exciting time coming up in the NBA. So, looking forward to seeing people signing up for Prize Picks. And everybody, we do appreciate you spending some time on your Saturday mornings with us, or Saturday afternoons with us, and had a great time today. And looking forward to seeing everybody next week. Have a great week, everyone.